Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I would like to talk about a biggie, which is uncertainty. And uncertainty is probably at the root of most intrusive thoughts because we all have to live with uncertainty. It's a guaranteed for all of us. There's no way we can all know what is going to happen in life. And that is kind of the stumbling block for most people with obsessive compulsive disorder or anxiety disorders, because it really covers a range of things. And it's really, really difficult because how can we kind of go through life just not knowing how things are going to turn out and just accepting that really uncomfortable feeling, which is uncertainty, and be okay with it? I mean, that is probably one of the things I have struggled with the most, is the uncertainty of life. You know, I'm probably quite a deep thinker about things as well. And I think a lot of people with OCD, we tend to overthink and we think a lot. And it doesn't help us though. It really doesn't help, you know, because I often question why some people don't do this. And, you know, some people are quite okay with the fact that they don't have certainty over life. You know, we're all living on this rock in the middle of space, and they're just okay with that, like okay with the fact that we don't know how life is going to pan out for us or our family or our friends, and they don't ever question it. And I sometimes find that quite difficult to comprehend, that people don't always question, like, what if, you know, this might happen, or what if that happens? And that is really the OCD talking, of course. You know, it's a real tricky one, and I think it's a stumbling block for obsessive compulsive disorder sufferers, because no one can have that. No one can have that complete reassurance that they know exactly how life will be. But there is a way of being okay with that. And I have had many times in my life when I've been okay with it. You know, I've got better. I've done my treatment for OCD. I have followed, really, I've consistently followed what I'm supposed to do. Because this is the thing. Sometimes it can feel like there's nothing that will help, because we'll start a treatment and it will just seem so difficult. It'll seem, I always said it sounds so easy, but it's difficult in practice. And I think most people will understand who have obsessive compulsive disorder and anxiety disorders, because in practice it sounds so simple. You know, just let that feeling sit there, let that feeling of uncertainty just sit there, and to be okay with that and not kind of get involved is so hard. So it is being consistent and knowing to let that uncomfortable feeling sit there. It's not going to be easy. And I think when I accepted the fact that it wasn't going to be easy and stopped giving myself a hard time, it became so much easier to let the thoughts be there. And I kind of welcome them now. So that's where the shift happened for me, I think. And I'm hopeful that this could be helpful for you as well, is where you welcome the thoughts and say, oh, there you are again. Nice of you to show up again, you know. That little niggle, that little thought that will say, well, what if this happens, you know, down the line? What if this terrible scenario was to take place? It's not getting involved in that, because it's a little thought that will pop up, and it's just letting it float there and knowing it's there and being okay with it, just saying, hi, I know, you know, you're still there, but as least involvement with it as possible. So you can be aware of it, you'll be like, yeah, but just don't get involved with it. And that's the very difficult line, I think, that it's easy to cross, is when you get involved with it. And sometimes you don't even know you've got involved with it. I you know, I'm guilty of that. You know, I'll think I'm doing really well, and then I'll think, then half an hour later, I'll be like, I've just been thinking about that for the last half hour and trying to work it out. And that's a big thing for OCD sufferers, is trying to work out whether this is probable. Is this thought a probable thing? And you know what? We really don't know. But to sit with that is very uncomfortable. But once I accepted the fact that it wasn't going to be easy and it was going to be uncomfortable, things just lifted. I'd say they really did lift, and I can feel that thought there. I can sense it, but it doesn't really bother me like it used to. And it's took me a while to get there, and it takes a lot of practice, not to get involved with those little hooks, those little thoughts that want to trip you up and get you back in the OCD cycle, back in the OCD washing machine. And I really do sympathize, because it's that feeling of not knowing is really, really hard. It's really distressing, and it's hard to function, when you've got those kind of thoughts going round and round and round. How do you function not knowing what's going to happen? And I've done it where I'll try and seek reassurance from people, and that's another topic, because reassurance seeking, while it may help in the moment, it doesn't do well in the long term. It's kind of tripping you up to get you still hooked in on the OCD cycle. And it's another intrusive thought. I treat it as an intrusive thought now, the whole reassurance seeking, because I'll be tempted and the urge is there, but I don't follow up with it. And again, I know it's not going to be easy, and I'm with you. I understand. And I know if I can do it, you can do it, because I've had so many times in my life when I've functioned perfectly well. Is it there? I'd say it's in the background, and I'm happy where it is in the background, because it's not affecting my life to the degree that was taking my life from me. It was limiting my life and stopping me doing things. So now it might be there telling me, like it might tell me, well, why are you doing these videos? It's silly. You shouldn't be doing this. Those thoughts, it really, really, it's like a constant dialogue in the background, but I don't involve myself in it now to the degree I used to. So that is really where I think a shift can happen, and it can happen for you too. Just welcome it. Say, hi, yeah, I know you're there, and kind of just accepting it. But please don't beat yourself up if you get hooked in. Like I say, it takes so much practice and so much consistency to stick with the uncomfortable feeling. I know a lot of people call it stick with the ick, because I definitely know how that feels. And you will get there. It will become easier. The thoughts will seem less frequent because they don't bother you the same way. That is the difference, really. They don't bother you, because everybody gets intrusive thoughts. People may question uncertainty about things, but they don't hook themselves into the degree that OCD sufferers do. Whether we've got the missing link there, I really don't know. And there's never been really conclusive evidence, apart from they think it's genetic, why we get sucked in like we do. So please don't give up. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. And you are not your thoughts. Just let them float around there without getting involved. As difficult as that may seem, and that uncomfortable feeling, it will be there. I was always made certain by my psychologist to understand that those thoughts will be there, and let them be there. Because pushing them away is going to make them come back faster. People really need to understand that, just trying to push them and get rid of them is not going to happen. We have to kind of get comfortable with letting them be there. So that is something I will talk about more in the videos I'm going to do coming up, because I found a lot of success with metacognitive therapy, which I know is not regularly used for obsessive compulsive disorder. I think it's finding the recipe that works for you. I do find being kind to myself with a lot of compassion for myself has made things a lot easier, and I think that is key as well. So I have probably combined a few different treatments there, maybe acceptance commitment therapy, that's another one which I have never really done, but I think looking into it, I probably do use elements of that in my recovery story. So hang in there. You will get better. You are not your thoughts. You are so much more than that. And I'll see you in the next video.